An explosion outside a California fertility clinic Saturday killed one person in what the local mayor described as a bomb attack. The blast ripped through downtown Palm Springs, badly damaging the clinic and blowing out the windows and doors of other nearby buildings. In what the city's police chief said appeared to have been a deliberate act. The blast appears to be an intentional act of violence, and the blast extends for blocks with several buildings damaged, some severely, Palm Springs Police Chief Andy Mills said. There has been one fatality. The person's identity is not known. Eyewitnesses told local media they had seen human remains near the American Reproductive Center's clinic, which appeared to have been badly damaged in the blast. A statement posted on social media by the clinic said no staff had been hurt when the blast went off. This morning, an unexpected and tragic incident occurred outside our Palm Springs facility when a vehicle exploded in the parking lot near our building, it said. We are heartbroken to learn that this event claimed a life and caused injuries, and our deepest condolences go out to the individuals and families affected. We are immensely grateful to share that no members of the ARC team were harmed, and our lab, including all eggs, embryos, and reproductive materials, remains fully secure and undamaged. Reproductive care, including abortion and fertility services, remain controversial in the United States, where some conservatives believe the procedures should be outlawed for religious reasons. Hi, I am Nia from the US Post. Before you dive into the report, please subscribe to our channel and hit bell icon to get all the updates on the matter. Do not forget to share your opinion in the comment box. Let's start now.
And joining us now is former NYPD inspector and Fox News contributor Paul Morrow. Paul, great to have you here on this. Something that jumped out at me from Caroline's report is that there's speculation it could be an inside job, number one. And the other thing is, how far do you think these other 7 inmates have gotten?
So in situations like this, the problem for the inmates is always resources, right? You know, they don't have the ability on the outside. Somebody has to help them on the outside. And they probably do, because there's some reporting that as soon as they got out of the area, they were able to change clothing. Somebody has to provide that clothing. The other thing is that very often there's inside help. Again, according to the reporting, the panel that they went through was only accessible from the outside. They've already got 3 people on administrative suspension that they're looking at for potential involvement of this thing. What we should realize is that they already got 3 of the pieces in custody. These guys have no incentive to protect whoever helped them inside. The first person who talks is going to get whatever deal, because remember, escape's an extra charge. And so likely by now they're already putting together the contours of how this went.
Oh, I want to stay on the inside job part, because the sheriff said during a news conference there's no way for anyone to get out of this facility without help. So that investigation into these employees, what sort of consequences could they be facing if they help facilitate this? Yeah,
well, I mean, it's going to be criminal. Certainly, it's going to be more than just, hey, you lost your job. Unlike the Epstein situation, where it looked like people dropped the ball all over the place, and yet there didn't seem to be any serious repercussions, according to the reporting. But in this case, you're going to have a situation almost certainly, if indeed it is an inside job, which we don't know yet, but it seems to be the way it's going, that you're going to be charged likely with facilitation of escape, some sort of obstruction of justice thing, and a conspiracy charge. You can take a very, very solid hit on this. It's going to be a felony level hit, almost certainly, and they're going to, I'm sure, no matter what they got for it, they're going to wish they hadn't done it.
Now, Paul, you're also an attorney as well. You're a former cop and an attorney as well.
You wear many hats.
Many hats, many hats. Are you hearing anything about the DOJ getting involved, the FBI, anything like that? And if one of these criminals who've escaped, certainly if someone helped them from the inside, if they commit a crime themselves, murder someone, would that person who helped facilitate that also face that charge?
Yeah, it's a smart question, because you're right. There is a federal sort of overlay in this thing, and this is what it is. There's a trend in America right now, or had been in America, of taking over these locations, all of the criminal justice system, using consent decrees. The federal government comes in and essentially saying, we're federalizing this whole thing. We don't like how you're doing it. They just did it here in New York with New York's jail, Rikers Island. This facility has been under a federal consent decree. Donald Trump has put through an executive order. Get rid of all the consent decrees, because he doesn't think that they work, and that they're actually a way for the federal government to impose their agenda on local jurisdictions. In this case, you'd have to say, whatever consent decree, whatever the parameters of the consent decree were, they clearly didn't work, because the thing is at 60% staffing, they had this escape, and these guys in many instances were heavy felons. You got murder, you got rape, and they moved them to a minimum security location. So it created nothing but problems. I think the federal government, our current administration's instincts on this are right. These consent decrees in many instances become a scam. The law firms are the ones who oversee it. They get to charge in perpetuity.
Millions of dollars.
They make a fortune, and they make it off of stuff like this.
Paul, I want to move to Palm Springs because there's been a bombing there.
Yeah.
What have you learned? What are you seeing? We know we have at least confirmed one dead there.
Yeah.
What is the latest from your perspective?
All right, so I've been talking to bomb techs who are much better at this sort of thing than I've responded to this kind of thing, but I'm not a bomb tech. But, you know, at the end of the day, investigation is investigation. Here's where it seems to be going. Does look like it's a device, okay? It's not a boiler explosion because you don't have, you had fire in this instance. Boilers don't cause fire, right? You have a heat signature. They call it the thermal effect. Then the other likely possibility then would be gas. We don't even know that there's a gas line going into this thing. Gas you usually see with restaurants. In light of that, in light of some of the statements that are coming out of the officials out there, it looks like a device. It looks like maybe a vehicle-borne device. I've seen some images which seem to indicate that there's a bucket seat from a car. One thing about car bombs, they leave pieces of the car. Like even at 93 bombing, which was an enormous device. You had the manifold there. They could get the VIN off the manifold, and that's how they put that case together. Who did it? Well, there's no indication that I can find of a fertility clinic ever being targeted. So you have to start to look at what was the motive, if indeed it was a version of a terrorist attack.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out that what made this so interesting was that this happened outside of an IVF clinic.
Sure.
And then you go, well, you know, who would be targeting that kind of place?
So, you know what? This is pure speculation.
Yeah.
Now, look, there are far-right groups who don't like the fertility clinics. There are far-left groups among, like, the climate change people who don't want more people coming into the world. So those are the sort of domestic terrorist-like possibilities here, which would import the FBI. They get the ticket on terrorism. But you know what's another possibility that occurs to me is some sort of a domestic, not domestic terrorism, domestic relationship, right? It's a fertility clinic. If they don't have this person ID'd, and let's say they hit a brick wall, which they're going to ID this person. There's going to be video. They're going to see the car. If it is a car, they're going to get the plate. They're going to get this. But that said, if they hit a brick wall, I'd be looking at bad divorces in the area. I'd look for situations where maybe there's somebody froze her eggs and he doesn't want her to have the kids. He'd be responsible for that money, something like that. Pure speculation. I want to be clear. But in digging down through this, there's no history that I can find, unless they blew it, unless they thought it was an abortion clinic or they thought it was a place that, like, kids transition. That's a big issue out in California. But short of getting it wrong, I see no indication throughout history that anybody's tried to bomb a fertility clinic. And so there's always a first. But I would start to think, if I'm doing the investigation, I'd have some people looking at this other angle as well.
That's a smart way of looking at it, too.
Well, you never know.
It seems like we've seen a lot of this, though. I mean, we saw the bombings of the pro-life centers. We've seen all these Tesla bombings as well, right? And I mean, are you seeing an increase of this compared to, you know, where you've been in your career in the past?
You know, that's a good question, too. The bad news is that if you want to find this stuff now, it's on the internet. You know, I had a lot of cases like that when I did counterterrorism. You would say to yourself, this person is not very high functioning. How did they manage to put together a fairly functional IED? This person doesn't even seem to be capable of holding a bank account together, and yet they put together a pipe bomb, and it's timed, and there's a phone on it. And the truth of the matter is, if you dig down deep enough, you get into the dark web, you get to these areas, that information is there. The good news is that a lot of that stuff comes with a signature. And the people who do the kind of work that I did, it's a pointer. And you can do everything you can to prevent it, but that can be a needle in a haystack.
All right, Paul, thank you so much for all of your great insight
Thank you.
on all of these stories.